good morning, good noon, good evening, wherever time and place you're listening to us from. Straight from the 909, it's Mark, myself, Isaiah, and together, that's hip-hop. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share the podcast. We greatly appreciate it. Today's going to be a very special episode. Today we're covering one of the pioneers of conscious rap. It's actually a collective, and some might consider them the pinnacle of hip-hop. Arrested Development emerged in the late 1980s and was founded in Atlanta. The group was spearheaded by Speech, Todd Thomas, a dynamic and socially conscious rapper. Their formation aimed to create music that not only entertained, but also carried powerful messages about social issues. The group is known for their distinctive fusion of hip-hop, soul, funk, and even African rhythms. This mix created a unique sound that incorporated live instrumentation, rich vocal harmonies, and thought-provoking lyrics. We're discussing the debut album, 3 years, 5 months, and 2 days in the life of ... Released in 1992 by Chrysalis Records and EMI. Runtime is 56 minutes and 13 seconds. From the album, they won 2 Grammys, one for Best New Artist, the other, Best Rap Performance by a Duo or Group for the song Tennessee. The album also went 4 times platinum in the US, 2 times platinum in Canada, platinum in the UK and Australia. So this is a very special album. I've never heard this album ever in my life.
That's the beauty of that's hip hop is that sometimes we become anew to these albums. Yeah. It becomes new to us. And in this instance, me sharing this album with Isaiah actually became new to him in this.
Right, exactly. And so first time listening through it, I was just vibing, just a cold listen. I like to just let the music hit me. And then the second time I listened through it, I'm intentfully listening to the lyrics and what is he saying. Yeah. And dude, I think this is probably the best piece of music I've ever heard. Like, yeah, dead serious. This is like that good because of the messages that's being said in this. And not only that, but the live band, there's times where they do breakdowns and it's just like, it's some of the best hip hop I've heard. Yeah. So why did you choose this album? And when did you come in contact with it?
So when I was doing my research and trying to at least get in tune with more hip hop back in, I want to say about the early 2000s, you come across, once you get into the conscious rap genre, yeah, you get your A Tribe Called Quest, your Gang Stars, your Diggable Planets, but then you start going a little deeper into where it's not really just conscious rap. Now you're looking at alternative rap. And I ended up listening to Arrested Development, and I'm like, I know them from the Tennessee joint because I heard Tennessee a lot. I heard Tennessee a lot when I was growing up. And damn, dude, the album takes you by surprise. It's on the lyric end, I have the truth within expressed outward. And I say that with true sincerity because from the aspect of live instrumentation, from the aspect of the lyricism, it's truth. The group as a whole has a message, and they're a rap group that's getting out of the plagues of what happened in the South. And they're expressing their frustration. They want change in current time. So this album itself is an expression of that. So you get the pain, you get the messages, you get what they want to express. And America felt that so much so, like you mentioned, they became the best new artist. And they actually have more than 3 joints that y'all should listen to. We actually had to come to an agreement on just 3 joints.
Yeah, it was very hard to
always.
Choose. Yeah,
but this album's full of life.
Yeah.
It isn't gangster. It isn't conscious. It's alternative, live band, Southern charm.
Yeah.
And without Arrested Development, you don't get the right to expression. Actually, you don't get the framework for expression like you have with your Outcasts, the Nappy Roots, Goody Mob.
Yeah.
You don't get that.
Yeah.
You know, of course, each of those artists have their own unique sound, but I feel that Arrested Development kind of gave the framework for it, and they kill it. Like, you barely think of them as a hip hop group.
Yeah.
But they are.
But they are, though. Yeah. It's pretty cool because, like, not only do they have, like, dancers, singers, they have dancers. They even have, like, this, like, I don't know, the old man of the group. That's kind of like the wise man. What's his name? Papa OJ?
And then they got the percussion. They got percussion. The percussion group as well in there. So when I wanted to pick this album, I actually have like an internal cue of what I want you guys to listen to as a whole.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure that I kind of had a feeling that it was either going to be new to either you or Andre, but in this instance that it is new to you, and I'm feeling I've felt those same impressions, dude.
Yeah.
Hearing them, you're just like, you listen to Arrested Development, you feel like there's a genuine hope for change.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because, like, I had
I
had no idea of Arrested Development. For all I knew, it was the show. Like, that was the only Arrested Development that I knew. So when Mark mentioned it, I was like first kind of thrown off. I was like, Arrested Development.
You want us to review the show on That's Hip Hop? Coming up next on That's Netflix.
And little did I know, it's like total opposite from that show is like this group that's just so good. I just love the blend. It's a unique sound to blend all those different styles into one. I mean, you can hear some blues, even some funk, hip hop. You hear
country,
alternative. Yeah, you even hear some country in there with the sound effects of like chickens and stuff in the background and all that junk. And even like it feels electric when you listen to it. It has such good energy. Like, that's one of the things I picked up right away because it's very uplifting. Like, right away, it makes you like kind of like, whoa, okay, what's this? Like, it's like it's entertaining. But then once you like listen in to what he's saying
intently,
it's like really good. Like, Speech is so good at crafting his lyrics. And this is so crazy, like that I've never heard of this guy. It's a crime, to be honest, because I was blown away at the way he crafted these songs. And the thing that's special with this group is Speech is going to give you those thought-provoking lyrics. And then the singers, when they sing the hook or the chorus, it like brings it all together. And then you got the background instrumentation that's going on with Headliner as the DJ, like scribbling all over it. It's just like a crazy blend of just such good music. There's early remnants here of the conscious rap. Like, I can see how this album could be so influential to MCs such as Common or Talib or Mos. Like, I can see this album being, I don't know if it is or not to them, but for me, I feel like if I was around during that time, rapping, I feel like, and I heard these guys, I know it would move me,
Yes.
The crazy thing is that it's around the time of gangsta rap.
Yep.
That's the gangsta rap movement. That's the Dr. Dre movement. And what's also funny about that is, that gangsta rap actually had the rise. where it should have been this should have been the rise of hip hop, but instead it was gangster rap. No. I mean, I'm not trying to trash gangster rap or anything, but when you have something so authentic, so golden as this, that message, overshadowed by gangster rap, it's kind of like puzzling a little bit.
It's almost as if it was deliberate. Like if gangster rap was perpetuated by someone beyond
Yeah.
That's an episode on its own.
We should have that X-Files sound effect here.
I truly believe what you're saying, and I wish that message was on the forefront in hip hop versus the gangster rap movement.
But what then why do you think it didn't have its movement then? Do you think
I'm telling you right now, it was perpetuated by outside sources beyond music. Okay. I firmly believe that. Now, there is a lot of evidence to support it, and we're not going to get into it right now. But at the surface level, you would want this uplifting, positive music to be what is hip hop.
Or at least inspire more of a movement, more others to kind of do it. Yeah. But I guess, maybe it's kind of one of those pendulum things, like, yin yang things. Like you have one force coming, you need to have the other. Maybe
true. But we can also agree that one was more prominent than the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
True.
True.
You wish stuff like this would and put a lot more emphasis into the conscious movement. And then there's going to be people in the comments before they even listen to the rest of this. Yeah. Yes, there is conscious albums that do predate this. You have two albums from A Tribe Called Quest that predate this. You have a lot of other albums that do predate this that are labeled as conscious.
Yeah, true.
So we all understand that this release, this 93 release, deals with conscious rap, but in its own signature. And I don't even like calling it conscious rap because it's a matter of it's alternative rap music because of how many other genres it blends. It's not A Tribe Called Quest because A Tribe Called Quest is conscious, but they don't have the live instrumentation. They don't have all these
it's more grounded to hip hop.
Yeah.
Than it is anything else.
It's going to be an honor breaking down this album because of how impactful it is to so many groups, South, North, East, West. It's
powerful messages about, about the culture, of African American culture, messages about nature, messages about just being a mom, messages about the homeless. There's messages about what else? About teaching someone how to fish rather than just giving them a fish.
Yes.
Messages about love and You, the track You. There's messages. Man, I'm already listed like at least 6 or 7 like dope messages. That
isn't it crazy to have all that within one album?
That is crazy. That is crazy. Yeah.
Plus, you have like a state anthem.
Right.
Yeah, I could just imagine state playing anthem. Tennessee in Tennessee, and people are just
like there's a guy.
It's their Sweet Home Alabama.
Right. Because speech is. It comes from such a genuine place too. I know we'll talk about that track.
Yeah.
It comes from such a genuine place, and it's remarkable how, a song that he wrote that was something near and dear personal to him blew up, became like number one, and stuff like that, which is pretty crazy. So this album, if you guys haven't listened to it like me, it's a crime that you haven't, so you should check it out and listen to it. Let's talk about the cover of the album. What are your thoughts first going into it?
I like how the group itself is always going to pay homage to their roots, to where they're at, to the South, to the South, and all the eccentric clothing that they have too. With African inspired, with the African inspired wardrobe.
And they're in touch with God. They're in touch with Mother Nature. They're in touch. You can see they're free.
There's nothing of technological, there's nothing that's going to date it technologically inside usually if it's a hip hop album, you're going to have your microphone. You're going to have something in relation to where you're
hip-hop,
at. And in this instance, we have Arrested Development paying homage to the South, paying homage to this great valley that they're in by a tree.
Right.
Within that tree are the roots of a great tree.
You could you can take that metaphorically into family tree, into Mother Nature. People always say, "What are the trees telling us?" Things like that.
When I'm singing this, it's like get a shot of us by the tree.
Right.
Had to have been said.
Right.
That frame right there being right there placed before the font and above it, listing the group name.
Right. Also the girl in the back, she has the umbrella, which is like for the rain. So it's, you know, even though it's not raining there, but it's telling you about nature and the rain, and they have a track about that as well in there. Yeah. There's dancing going on. It looks like there's him being introspective. One in the background is kind of looking to the sky, being introspective. Then you got speech, you know, like he's like symbolizing the cross almost.
Yeah. It's so alternative that looking at this, you won't even think about it as a hip hop or rap album.
You wouldn't see it as that. The title, what do you think about the title? 3 years, 5 months, and 2 days in the life of, what does that mean?
I couldn't tell you, man. I'm thinking a duration of some importance to speech.
Yeah.
You know, maybe how long it took to do the album, how long, you know, in between something.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, because that's very particular.
Right.
Extremely particular.
Yeah.
It's a long album title, and you can be at the mercy of it. Like I remember Alanis Morissette had this long album title that literally like overshadowed the fact that she had songs on the album.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here we have Arrested Development presents 3 years, 5 months, and 2 days in the life of.
I like that. I like how he's conscious even about the time that, you know, that we're in, the period of time that we're in this life of, and that could be whoever, I guess, really.
Long titles like that really don't exist in hip hop. Like the other album title that I know off the jump that's that long is A Tribe Called Quest's first album. It's People's Instinctive Travels in the Passive Rhythm.
Or what about, I think of Jedi Mind Trick's first album. It was like some long old term. That one was crazy too. Dope album cover. But you're right. Looking at it right from the jump, like you're not going to think that's a hip hop album.
Not at all. Not at all.
You know, but that's what's kind of dope though. That's dope because it's really not just like you said, it's not a hip hop album. It's a alternative hip hop album.
Yeah.
To correctly categorize that, but it's so influential, man. To me, even like I'm listening to that, I'm like, man, that'd be so dope to have like a band live perform stuff, you know. And
look how the successful, you know, bands like that ended up going and being successful. The Roots, and
it changes exactly, and it changes the dynamic too, because you can do different things with the band in a rap song that you really can't, you know, on just a beat. I mean, I guess you can, but it's doing on instruments though. It's more live, dude. Like it's
everyone has to be on. Everyone has to know the cues. It's like having, you know, it's like being a part of a rock band,
right?
You know, taking into the guise of actually rap and hip hop,
right?
The beats are on the spot. Everyone has to be on point. Yeah. Not that you're just, you know, you're not just doing the drums, hitting the bass and doing all that. No, like the beat has to come, and then the instrumentations for the chorus on that beat. So there's actually a lot more people behind the scenes getting it done.
More like a symphony now.
Then you got people singing in the background.
Yeah, doing harmonies. There's a lot to it.
A whole group behind it, man.
Yeah. It's pretty dope. I mean, I think it's such a powerful album. Okay, so we got 3 tracks that we chose.
Yes.
The first one's going to be Everyday People.
Yeah.
Second one is Mr. Wendal. Mark was kind of making fun with that because we have a teacher.
People every day.
Sorry, excuse me. People every day. Second one's Mr. Wendal, but I was saying because we had a teacher named Mr. Yendal, so it's very similar. It's like Mr. Yendal, and plus I made a song about it.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't overshadow that fact, my friend. He actually had a song with Mr.
about
Yendal.
Our teacher, yeah. Which was risky. Like I could have, you know, who knows? He maybe took that the wrong way. Could have.
He probably listens to it still.
Listens to it. So the third one we have is Tennessee.
Yes.
Yeah. So we got 3 tracks there. Everyday People Every Day, Mr. Wendal, and Tennessee. Yeah. Now, I want to talk about really quick before we get into those songs. The intro is great. The intro is great. The beginning starts off with like some scratches and some just this high, fast funk beat. But there's also still a dope message there because the song's titled "Man's final frontier. And they're saying that the frontier isn't about going up to space. The frontier is about these tracks and the songs that they're writing, that it's uncharted territory, like God is guiding them to write these songs.
Yeah.
Such a powerful message, because they're talking about the exploration of God rather than space, and God within. I mean, who's talking about that anymore? So I thought right away, to set the tone, they're already exploring the aspect of God and looking within, and it's already thought provoking just from the jump.
Yeah.
And that's not even a rap verse. That's just an ad lib from one of the members.
And to be so internally sound with yourself.
Yeah.
To even illustrate a point like that on an album.
Yeah.
There's a lot that can affect your reputation if you seem unauthentic to it.
Right.
That whole track comes from someone who is sound within themselves enough to present the idea that, hey, look, we could look outside to space, but we have to look inside for God within.
Yeah.
And when we do that, everything else in the exterior of our life somehow comes into place. It's funny how that works sometimes.
And it's crazy too, because everything feels ad-libbed. Like, even when they come off like that, it feels ad-libbed. It doesn't feel planned. And I don't know if it was or not.
Yeah, and you can hear these tracks 100 times over, and you're going to hear a new sound somewhere.
Exactly. And I love on that first track too, they also changed up the beats a little bit, and they showed you one like hip hop more styled beat and more funky. Like, they switch it up on you too, right from the get-go. The second track was also dope. This is my honorable mentions. The second track, Mama's Always on Stage, I thought was also, controversial today, to write a song like that. But the message is loud and clear on that one, about like a mom basically contemplating abortion, and he's saying, no, don't have it. Like, we're going to support you as a community. Yeah. We're going to support this and help. And I love the fact that he was talking about accountability as a man, as an African-American, like, just and not giving up on the kid.
Yeah.
And making it happen, and talking about how a mother is basically always having to be on. And that's why I think that they're talking about on the stage, Mama's always on the stage.
Yeah.
Because they always have to be.
She ain't taking no breaks.
Yeah. So I thought that message was pretty dope. And I don't know. It's so unique nowadays to hear a message like that. So I thought it was pretty dope, man.
Yeah. There's a lot to take with that. There's a lot to take with that song, because you think about the life that you were given from your mother.
Yeah.
And listening to the song, you'll have several examples inside yourself where you know that, hey man, my mom put it down.
Yeah.
Like she's I'm 35 years old. She's always on the clock for me, like she's still always going to be worried about her son and her sons.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, Mom was always on the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sick one. So we're going into People Every Day.
Yes.
Starts with speech. He's showing off his storytelling on this track.
Correct.
He does a very good job of storytelling. He's very good at being introspective in his verses. I don't know as far as like who I could compare him to as an MC. His style though feels simple, although I know it's not simple. Like, what he's doing is tricky. Like, he's rhyming fast on some of these tracks, very fast. Because some of these beats are like, like
it's really almost cool. Like Common. It's almost like as Common would do, but slower paced.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what every time I hear a speech, I'm hearing that. Because Common's always in a spot where he's not too fast, but you could tell the instances where he's able to like pick it up, but the lyricism is all way up here.
Yeah.
With speech, it's slowed down, laid back, but the lyricism's still present, not as much as a Common per se, but there's still a strong message being presented.
Yeah.
So where people may say that the lyricism lacks, granted, this type of group doesn't thrive on that. This group is thriving, and at this point in time of this album, this group is thriving on the band overall and the message within the song.
Yeah. I had some feelings of like when he raps fast, like it's almost at the speed of dissect. Mm-hmm. He's not doing what dissect is doing, but it's almost at the speed of what they could do. Like, because there are some beats on here that are too quick for my liking, even to try to rap on something like that. Yeah. And this dude ice skates on it like very easily. And so, I think the most important aspect I take away from speech is that emphasis on the message. Yeah. I mean, I've never seen a rapper so solid on the message.
Yeah. Even if we're going to take another lens to it, it's rare that you get Southern hip hop artists that are this thought provoking.
Yeah.
Around this time.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Okay.
So this beat's really relaxed. It's a play on the everyday people. The chorus gets into the play of everyday people from the song from the group Sly and the Family Stone.
Now, I was telling Mark, this is one of those memorable songs because I remember this in commercials.
Yeah.
And I thought it was this exact song that they had in the commercial, but Mark was telling me, no, it was actually another song, right?
So I don't know if my Mandela effect's playing with me right now.
Yeah.
But
the Mandela effect.
I want to recall 2 times where they used the Sly and the Family Stone joint, and they actually used the Arrested Development version of Everyday People.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm of People Every Day, so that's where we're gonna.
So this was in because I remember from a car commercial. You said it was from like a
So
Ford.
Yes. So it got to be from the Ford commercial.
The commercial was like a rock.
Yeah, so that came from Bob Seger.
Okay.
But there's another, the Everyday People song is another car commercial jingle.
Everyday people.
Yeah. With speech in this song, it's very relaxed. It's akin to the Sly and the Family Stone cover. Just chill, relax, letting you know that, hey, look, we're people just like you. We deal with the same problems in and out of our community. It's see, I was resting at the park, minding my own business as I kick up the trouble tone. So carrying on the bar's idea, minding my own stops. Business as I kick up the trouble tone.
Minding my own business. Yeah.
On my radio, tape player box, right? Just loud enough so folks could hear it's hype, see? Out of nowhere comes this woman I'm dating. Investigation, maybe she was demonstrating. But
what do you get out of that? Investigating, maybe she was demonstrating. I was trying to picture that in my mind, but I didn't know what he meant by that. Investigation, maybe she was
curious, coming around.
Yeah.
I don't want, there's nothing that leads me to believe that she was...
basically, she comes around,
investigation, maybe she was demonstrating. She was trying to show that she, is concerned for the gentleman in the sense of, hey, I care enough for you that I want to see what you're doing.
Yeah. Because
he actually says... when he says the next bar, but nevertheless, I was pleased.
Yeah.
It's the idea that, hey, look, I know you're doing it like this. Anyway, I'm still pleased that you're here.
Yeah.
It's like maybe there's a little frustration of hey, what are you doing? You're unannounced,
Maybe she pulled up unannounced or something. Yeah.
But nevertheless, I was pleased.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So he wasn't expecting her probably to show up.
Yeah.
She does, almost like she's investigating where he's at or something.
Yeah. Yeah. But nevertheless, I was pleased. My day was going great and my soul was at ease until a group of brothers started bugging out, drinking the 40 ounce, going the route, disrespecting my black queen, holding the crotches and being obscene.
Man, look how descriptive this guy is.
Yeah.
Until a group of brothers started bugging out, drinking 40 ounce.
I love that. Bugging out, drinking the 40 ounce.
Man. And then, disrespecting my black queen, holding their crotches and being obscene. The imagery of all of that.
And then it plays into the term Southern gentleman.
Yeah.
Doing that in front of a chick.
Yeah.
If you have to get called out on that.
Right.
Because you know better.
Right.
You know better than not
you can
to act
totally see this happening as well.
Yeah.
You know, some parks are sometimes hangout spots for, you know, for these gangs and stuff like that. So you could totally picture something like this really going down too.
At first I ignored them because, see, I know they're tight. They got drunk and got guns and they want to fight.
Yeah, just looking for trouble.
And they see a young couple having a time, that's good. And their egos want to test a brother's manhood.
Yeah, because that's they just want to
they want to. They're trying you.
Trying you.
They're trying you, and it's what you have. It's like I'll say it like this: I'm out with a date.
Yeah,
and you could tell a guy's going to be able to tell when guys around him are like, you know, peacocking,
right,
showing off for the fact of like, hey, you're with him, but look at me. Mm-hmm. This is kind of like this situation here, to where these guys are being obscene because they're trying to get not the attention of the guy. They're trying to get him irate, but they're trying to get the attention of his mate, of his girl.
Right. Right.
Right. They want to test the brother's manhood. So they came to test speech because of my hairdo. And around this time, I believe he has dreadlocks. He also has a song where he mentions the deep roots of the dreadlocks too.
That's right.
And the loud, bright colors that I wear. See the album cover.
Yeah. Again, very descriptive. Again, hairdo, colors is wearing, like the imagery is here is like he's just building and building.
I was a target because I'm a fashion misfit, and the outfit that I'm wearing, brothers dissing it. So I'm going with it.
Look how much, like, how he understands the situation so well. He knows exactly why they're targeting him. He knows it's what he's wearing. He's self-reflective. Like, he knows it's his hair. He already knows the whole situation before it's even happening.
Well, I stay calm and pray that leave me be because they're squeezing parts of my date's anatomy. Oh, wow.
That's crazy. Just squeezing her butt. Like,
so that's a great example of saying something general.
Exactly.
But spinning it to the effect
like he didn't say they're squeezing her ass or nothing. Like parts of her anatomy.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of it, because you fit the previous bar before.
Yeah.
And you keep it in rhythm. Leave me be, anatomy.
And you kind of already know what he's suggesting.
Yeah,
you know?
but they're squeezing parts of my date's anatomy.
Yeah.
Why, Lord, do brothers have to drill me? Because if I start to hit this man, he'll have to kill me. See?
He already knows, like, he's a chess player too, man. He knows the next move. He knows if I do this, they're going to do that.
Everyday people dealing with everyday problems.
That chorus. Now, that's what I wanted to mention here is that chorus is what really honed this in. The message
reels you into the example. The verse gets reeled into the chorus,
right? Because otherwise, it's a random story. It's a random story about him at the park, and some guys want to mess with him. Random story. You know, you don't know what the message is. Okay, yeah, you shouldn't do that. But this chorus really tells it all. Everyday people. I'm just a guy, man. Like, what's your problem? You know, like that message is so strong, so minimal, but strong. I think that's another gift that they got, because they have all these singers that are singing beautifully, the harmonies and all that mixed with this. Yeah.
I told please let us pass, friend. I said, please, because I don't like killing Africans. But he wouldn't stop, and I ain't Ice Cube. But I had to take the brother out for being rude.
Ooh, I like that line.
And like I said before, I was mad by then. I took 3 or 4 cops to pull me off of him. But that's the story, y'all, of a black man acting like and get stomped by an African.
Ooh.
So it's a classist comment when he says, "Yo, the guy's acting like and he gets stomped by an African."
Right.
So it's the detachment of your roots. It's the detachments. It's actually speech taking this gentleman to the slave insult.
Right.
Down to the slave insult, and not going to where he should be identified as an African American, or even an African at whole too as well.
And just like talking to his own people, like that message is, this verse is even stronger, I feel like, than the first verse, and it's shorter, but it's stronger. I think because of that chorus, because now after coming off of that chorus, it's like he goes even deeper to the roots and starts talking about, his own kind and like, what are we doing here? Like it goes even more in. So this song is very powerful.
The moral, and then after the chorus, the moral of the story is,
I like how he just gives it to you straight. Like if you didn't get it, basically it's this: don't you gotta look where you're stepping.
Yeah, who you stepping to, because you might get killed or shot, and it's not worth it. Africans need to be loving each other and unite. This reminds me of the times where Rod Serling would circle back at the end of the Twilight Zone episode.
Exactly. Yes.
And after the whole episode's done, he'll come back with the suit and just tell you
the moral of the story.
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah. Either he shows up or it fades out to his voice.
That's dope. That's a dope reference. Yeah. Peace to Rod Serling too. Another genius, man. Classic series that he made. I don't think could ever be touched.
Peace again. To our upcoming podcast. That's Twilight Zone.
Yeah, the one that never came to be, but we wanted to do.
Yeah. So then we actually have. Let's go to
Mr. Yendal.
Yeah, track number 5 is Mr. Yendal.
Mr. Wendal, you mean?
Yeah.
Mr. Wendal.
Yeah, Mr. Wendal. So
and this one, he's storytelling again, and these stories. It sounds like some of them might be true, because in this case, he's talking about a homeless that's name is Wendal. Yeah, and I don't know if he actually went out there and interacted with this person or not, or where he got this name from. It sounds to me like it's true. I don't know if it is, but it sounds very true.
We don't really have a lot of songs about the homeless. Like I know 2 songs that are about the homeless. It's Mr. Wendal and then She's Homeless, the la-da-dee, la-da-da,
okay.
Like for Crystal Waters.
But what about like a hip hop song though about the homeless?
They barely talk about them. They call them bums. They call them, the only time I hear people talk about the homeless in hip hop music is the negative connotation of it. Got a bum asking me for money.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Is there a song out there that is talking about homeless? Yes,
please enlighten us in the comment section.
For real, because I don't know. That'd be pretty dope.
Because I'm that's the only ones that 2 to come to mind,
Here, have a dollar. Again, the speed 2 is, I believe, still kind of like a slower type beat.
Yes.
That is rapping to, because this flow here is a little bit slower.
And even despite the fact that this is a separate track.
Yeah.
I kind of want to think that people every day and into the course of everyday people.
Yeah.
Mr. Wendal's still everyday people.
Right. Correct.
Correct.
That's a good point to make. Like it's blending in to the next track even.
It's like, I don't know whether or not you like set tracks early like that to set a precedent for the whole song. Usually if it's a deliberate theme on the album, like your Kendrick Lamar albums.
Right.
But this is kind of more or less like us diving into these lyrics and realizing, hey, look, like this looks like another, these verses within Mr. Wendal as we read them are going to, they could have worked as another verse within, another condensed version of verse within people every day.
That's a good point to make. Yeah, that's a really good point to make. Here, have a dollar. In fact, no, brother, man, here, have 2. $2 means a snack for me, but it means a big deal to you. Be strong, serve God only. Know that if you do, beautiful heaven awaits. That's the poem I wrote for the first time. I saw a man with no clothes, no money, no plate. Mr. Wendal, that's his name. No one ever knew his name because he's a no one. Never thought twice about spending on an old bum until I had a chance to really get to know one. Now that I know him, to give him money isn't charity. He gives me some knowledge. I buy him some shoes. And to think, blacks spend all the money on big colleagues.
Oh, no, colleges.
Oh, colleges, excuse me. Still most of y'all out here confused. Go ahead, Mr. Wendal. Then the hook comes in. Mr. Wendal, the hook is Mr. Wendal's name.
Mr. Wendal.
Verse 2, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, Mr. Wendal has freedom, a free that you and I think is dumb. Free to be without the worries of a quick-to-diss society. For Mr. Wendal's a bum. His only worries are sickness and the occasional harassment by the police and the chase. So going with the societal issues that the homeless have to deal with, granted, a lot of them are placed in particular situations where it's like, hey, look, these guys are, intellectually sound. Some of them, are a part of this, the other side of it.
Right.
But,
and the fact that he touches on the freedom part of it too is pretty like interesting to note. Like, you know, they actually have a freedom. It's a different kind than you and I will know, but it's, you know, and then he goes kind of into that.
His only worries are sickness. So it even, to even think of just being sick. Yeah. So to a bum, it's a lot because you're exposed to the elements more than we would be.
Yeah,
you're exposed to, you know, the plight of society outside.
Right.
You sleeping outside in the, you know, on a cold bench.
Sickness could be death at that point. Because you know, if you don't take proper medication or you can't afford it or something like that.
Yeah, you're homeless. You're asleep at a park bench.
Right.
And you get bit by this, you know, by a raccoon. You get bit by a dog, a rabid dog. Are you going to get the health care in time?
Right.
You know, this is the many layers within the, you know, being
homeless,
sick.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you and me look to sickness as, just pop a couple, you know, Advil this, Robitussin that.
Yeah.
They don't have that simplistic access.
Right.
And, you know, playing on to the point of an occasional harassment by the police in their chase.
Right.
So
how they're getting abused by police.
Alluding to that they're just arresting him just cause.
Well, you know, and especially look how this resonates even to today's time. And we're seeing homeless in California like way more than usual in LA, in San Francisco. San Francisco is really bad. And then, you know, the recent story is like when some leaders were coming down, all of a sudden they just cleaned the streets overnight, like that.
Yeah. It's funny how they were able to get a task force that quick.
Yeah. To move all these homeless, and where do you move them to? Like they just overnight did it, but then they said they couldn't like help before. So it's crazy because this song will always resonate. I believe that no matter what period in the future we're in, homelessness will always still exist, Sally. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm, you know, in the way beyond the future it doesn't. But I'm just saying, like, I think this is one of those things that will always exist, and this song will still resonate.
Homelessness will always exist, and there's always going to be a Mr. Wendal.
Yeah.
You know, there's always going to be that guy. There's always going to be one of those homeless gentlemen that just
could be Mr. Yindle. Mr. Yindle could be.
Could be Mr. Yindle. You got to check if he's still teaching.
Teachers don't get paid much anymore.
No, definitely not. But we also understand that, you know, the Mr. Wendals of the homeless society are like deep, thought-provoking, intellectual men.
Yeah,
have probably gotten the bad luck of the draw in some
instances.
Still
the important point that he's talking about here that you mentioned too is that they're human, and we see them as uncivilized, or we see them as not human.
Yeah,
which is sad, but that's a big point.
The uncivilized, we call them. But I just saw him eat off the food we waste. Civilization. Are we really civilized? Yes or no? Who are we to judge?
Look at these deep ass questions, though.
And right in that bar, he's putting up putting up Wendal to level ground with us. He's like, who are we to judge?
Right.
Are we not civilized? Who's civilized?
Right.
You know, who are we to judge when thousands of innocent men could be brutally enslaved and killed over a racist grudge? Really
quick. That can easily happen.
Mr. Wendal has tried to warn us about our ways, but we don't hear him talk. It is his fault. Is it his fault when we've gone too far?
And see, I could just picture the city, you know, people walking by homeless, you know, not even giving them a glare.
Yeah, because they get a bad rep now.
Right,
like it sucks, but they a lot of them get a bad rep now.
Right.
Is it his fault when we've gone too far? And we got too far because on him we walk. On him we walk. We are literally walking over Mr. Wendal in speech's sense here. And we're not really breaking down the lyrics in this portion of Mr. Wendal because there's not a lot of, it's more free poetry at this point.
Yeah. Exactly.
This is the particular moment where the lyricism takes a back seat to the story, to the message. We have, and we've got too far because on him we walk. Mr. Wendal, a man, a human in flesh. But this is the killer, but not by law.
Yeah.
I feed your dignity to stand with pride. Realize that all in all, you stand tall, Mr. Wendal. Lord, Mr. Wendal.
Yeah.
So
what's
putting him up high on a pedestal. which you should with every person, like in terms of every person deserves a chance. You know, this rubs, you know, this kind of goes with me against the grain, because you know how I look at, how I look at the grind of, I'm not gonna go on my soapbox here, but the plight of a man, it's tough. It's a tough battle. So listening to Mr. Wendal, it's like I'm in against the grain of like the unity of the whole thing.
Yeah.
But speech takes it to a level where I understand, like, hey, dude, like.
And the thing is, Mark, too, is like we have to understand, like, people will have their hardships, Yeah. I mean, they're not maybe as fortunate as maybe you and I are in certain degrees. Like, you have awesome family that supports you and me as well, but not everybody does. And so coming off of that, some people make it, which is an awesome story to tell, an underdog story. And then some people don't. And I wonder what their story is sometimes, because like what leads to a person to end up eventually at that point.
I remember watching this documentary about the homeless. Like apparently there's like this area where people that are homeless by car are able to park for the night, for a safe spot to sleep.
Yeah.
Everybody deserves that.
Right.
This guy was saying that, hey, I was 6-figure salary, this, all that. 2008 happens, takes a dump on his finances. Ooh. Wife leaves him, just like combo, like just picture Mike Tyson is just financial blows, like, and he got it, but all he was left with was his car, and he's like, dude, I try to make stuff work, but he's in a position where he has to pay the debts.
Yeah,
he has to keep with a regular job just to keep paying these debts. And it's like the lifestyle to what he wanted to do to his debts weren't computing at all.
Right.
So each journey to this is different. Each journey for each Mr. Wendal is different.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it makes you think this song at its core, going back to the song as a whole, it's thought provoking.
Yeah.
It's thought provoking, and it sounds catchy.
Yeah. And
but then when you listen to it,
this is his single. This is one of the singles. Imagine like this is his single.
For a group to in unison decide that this song is going to be the single out of the album is going to be, it's a stand against something.
Yeah.
It's saying, look, we all know Tennessee's a great song, but I want Mr. Wendal on this, like I want that as a single as well. Press its own, because as a single, it gets its own CD, it gets its own disc cover, own album art, all that. They wanted to do that. They wanted to. It's about getting the idea out.
Yeah,
and
powerful stuff, man. Powerful stuff. Powerful. And I hate to get too like mushy and too positive. I don't want it to be like we're just like hyping it as super positive, like. It's not only positive, but it's like it's lyrically sound. It's musically sound. It's structured like very well. Like
I hope
it's not just the positivity aspect, but there's other factors, and the positivity thing is just the cherry on top. Because whenever there's a dope message like that, for me personally, I think that's even more important than the lyricism. Even
if there's people in the comments. For you for the first time listeners to this album, please give us your honest feedback on it. We want to get engaged with the community of That's Hip Hop, and to see what you guys think, because we do put a genuine thought process on deciding these albums, and we really feel that, hey, look, like the albums that I put out personally, my MO, like I mentioned earlier in the show, is to make sure that you and Andre, if that's going to be the first time you listen to it, I want to be here for
that's cool.
Like you always want to be there with the homie that, like, what you haven't seen. Like, look, when I told you about my homie that didn't see it, when you don't see Gladiator for the first time, you don't see Terminator 2, you want to see it with your homie.
Yeah, just to get that first reaction.
Yeah, because you get to relive it again, dude. Right. You got to relive it again. So I would want that type of engagement with the audience there.
Yeah.
In that aspect, because that gets exciting.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think?
Yeah, and sometimes album? they know some things that like I would have not known, or so that is also helpful too.
Now let's get to the nitty gritty. The third track.
Yeah. The third track we got is Tennessee.
Yeah. Now, before we even get into the lyrics, good God, this song is, it just start to finish.
Yeah.
Instrumentation, lyricism, the charisma within.
Yeah. And as you get deeper into the song, it again feels a little bit ad-libbed, which is, it just feels organic. The way the singer also kind of goes in on it, and it's like, oh,
speech doesn't really follow the atypical rapper motif in the sense of style, exterior, but interior with the lyricism. It's like a lot of stuff doesn't end precisely on that bar.
Yeah,
it's like he's still just going with his
carry
cadence.
It over. Yeah, he goes with the cadence a lot. The flow. Yeah,
absolutely. I've hearing this song, I wish I lived in Tennessee, because like the only thing we got in California, we got the California Girls, California, that joint by Pac, California Love.
Oh yeah.
Dog, I think Tennessee is like one of the best hip hop anthems for their joint, you know, like for their state.
Yeah. Before we get into it, let me. I just want to give some.
Oh, do we have a sponsor?
No.
You finally Blue Chew finally hit us up.
Manscaped. Like you're
gonna shave live on air.
I went there, just Manscaped.
Oh man,
I sold out. I want to give some props to some of these other tracks really quick. Yeah. Children Play with Earth, I thought was also really dope. It was instrumental, but it had this hook about the children getting their hands in the dirt, like go outside, feel the soil. You know, that was pretty dope. Raining Revolution was another track I thought was dope. Another kind of instrumental album. Actually, Headliner's doing this one. It talks just about the rain, how if the rain didn't happen, we would cease to exist. Yeah. Like thinking about all these natural miracles that are happening in our life that we don't really stop and take a gander at. Fishing for Religion was also another track that was dope. Fishing Religion talked about speeches, his skepticism on some churches that are some of the Baptist churches that will they want to have you shout and everything. But he goes, what is shouting doing though? That's not changing anything. You're shouting, okay, but if you apply and you do things, that's where the revolution really starts. He goes, so for now I'm fishing for the church that does that. Dope track. Give a Man a Fish, about teaching someone how to fish rather than to give them a fish.
And what's the lesson by that? You give a man a fish, he eats for a day.
Right.
You teach him how to fish, he eats for a lifetime.
Exactly. The track number 10, about him being he talks about loneliness a bit and about this grand search for that special one.
Yeah.
And when you find her, is it just he wants it to be more than just a fling. He wants it to be something real, marriage. He wants that.
Yeah, and then the crazy part, the crazy lesson of it all is it comes back to self.
Right. Yeah.
To in order for you to fully love someone else, you have to love yourself first.
You have to be willing to compromise and be changed and molded. Dope track, man. All these are just very thought-provoking. Eva Reality was good. Natural was good. I want to kind of fast track now. Dawn of Dreads you mentioned, that was another good track. I had a funky beat to it. That was just some of the bass lines on here. It's just super dope. And then we go back to now to Tennessee.
Yes.
Tennessee is a track that was inspired from his mom's passing as well as his brother passing. He said that shook him to the core, didn't know what to do in life anymore. And one of the greatest places in his life, Tennessee, was also one of the tragic things in his life, because that was the last places he saw his mom, his brother. So it's like it's a super happiness, but it's also very tragic.
I think the best example of this, for me in this instance, because I've had a great example to prove here for that. So, as I was growing up, I used to go to Roswell, New Mexico to visit my grandparents, my dad, all that. And I would go to their house all the time. I'd go to this, this nice house that they had. little courtyard, bunch of rooms. Family was there. My uncles, everybody was visiting when we would show up. And as time went on, less people showed up.
Yeah.
And as time went on, people got older.
Right.
Time went on, grandma's not there. Grandpa's not there. Well, my dad wasn't there. And then my grandpa. And then my mom, during my dad's service, we went out to Roswell to visit again. And during that time when we were doing our thing, we never visited the house again. So we end up going back to the house again, and we just see weeds everywhere. The house wasn't kept. It was it's under foreclosure, long story.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is the door's still open. They always had that door open. I was like, why is this door open? Like, I'm always like, it was like they never locked the doors there. That's how like cool New Mexico was. Door was still open. But it's the family left, the love left. The energy within is gone, and all it is you don't get that. So it's like it's coming back to, that was like my Tennessee, where it's like, the best and the worst things happen there. So it's totally like every time I hear this, I'm just like, damn, like a place calls to you like that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's challenging whenever you lose somebody you really love, especially a mom. I think I feel like a mom would be even tougher because there's nothing like a mom's love,
Yep.
So, and then losing your brother is another one. That's a whole different, that's a whole nother different one that I no one would want to experience that. Especially his brother was young. His brother was 29 years old. I believe he had asthma or something like that. He had a good head on his shoulders, was into like being a doctor and stuff like that. And so when you lose these two very close, important people in your life, you feel super alone and makes you question a lot of stuff. Yeah. I love the fact that he put that energy into a song.
It's almost like this whole thing was a tribute to it. I bet I'm starting to think now, maybe this 3 years, 5 months, and 2 days in the life of has something to do with this family.
Yeah.
We're going to have to look at it at the end. If you can, we'll put it on after the fact, but we'll look it up and we'll try to figure out what it is, because now I'm kind of like, I'm making these connections now. And I kind of feel like maybe it
did have to do with the period of time, maybe while he was working on this project or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough, man. I think that's a part of life though, is death. And it's one of those things that it's challenging to cope with.
Yeah.
And I think he does a good job of exploring that and talking about that exploration on this track.
And it's about making the most of the situation.
Yeah.
So one thing it's really tough for you to put these thoughts to pen and pad.
Yes.
The emotion, what you have to deal with. But taking this negative connotation of death and everything and just bringing
so much
something else to life.
Yeah.
And making Tennessee's a straight up banger.
Yeah, because this song is so powerful. You could just imagine how many people it's affected.
For him, it all comes back down to when you're at your lowest. And I felt this, but it's like you do need God.
Yeah,
it comes down to needing the spiritual source within yourself to hey, look, everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
So that is what really resonates with me now, because it's you feel these points within. Everyone's going to have a point or two to feel within Tennessee, I believe.
Yeah. It is a very special track, man. I'm glad you put me onto this album, seriously, because for me not to hear this, man, I'm glad I didn't go my whole life not hearing this song. I don't mean to I'm not trying to hype it up like that, but I'm just saying genuinely,
bro,
it's really, it was really a dope experience to listen to this guy writing some genuine, pure, things from the heart. It's dope. Lord, I've been real stressed, down and out, losing ground. Although I'm black and proud, problems got me pessimistic. Again, so descriptive already. Yeah. Brothers and sisters keep messing up. Why does it have to be so damn tough? I don't know where I can go. I want to stop right here. One of the things I think that's also powerful when you're writing is asking questions. When you write and you ask questions, man, that's what I think that's a big, strong part of making your song thought provoking, because you're asking these like philosophical questions that leave people really contemplating it. And usually that leads to a deeper song. Right.
Because you open the once you propose a question to yourself internally, especially in a rhythmical, I'm talking from an MC standpoint on this one, but the floodgates of lyricism and thought start coming out because
you're trying to answer this
question. The question.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Brothers and sisters, why does it have to be so damn tough? I don't know where I can go to let these ghosts out of my skull. My grandma's passed. My brother's gone. I never at once felt so alone. I know you're supposed to be my steering wheel, not just my spare tire home. But Lord, I ask you home to be my guiding force and truth home. For some strange reason, it had to be home. He guided me to Tennessee home.
So it wasn't his mother. It was his grandmother.
It was his grandma.
My grandma.
Yeah, exactly.
My grandma's passed. My brother's gone. I never had once felt so alone. And Isaiah's reading these lyrics verbatim. There's no we really needed that, but it's like the rhythm to it. Even in the beginning, I'll just do the 4 bars because it's like something you've always heard.
Yeah.
The only thing I can resonate with a lot of it, but the black and proud part, I can't, it's, I got Latino and proud for sure, but Lord, I've been real stressed, down and out, losing ground. Although I am black and proud, problems got me pessimistic. And noticing off the jump, it's not a lot of rap, but it is.
Right.
It's
and then the fact that he's like kind of singing that too is also like, I mean, that's
the cool part about it is that like we'll go back to the last 4 bars because he asked the Lord in the beginning,
right?
But then he asked the Lord at the end,
right?
But Lord, I ask you to be my guiding force and truth. For some strange reason, it had to be. He guided me to Tennessee. Take me to another place. Take me to another land. Make me forget all that hurts me. Let me understand your plan. Your plan, not mine. Your plan. Because you put me in this situation, Lord. But let me understand your plan. Make me forget all that hurts me, what I'm going through right now. That chorus, bro. I cannot put emphasis on this enough because it's just... it's like a mantra. Like this ended up being a mantra for like people internally, dude. Like you just hear it, just like Tennessee can do that to you. The song, like take me to another place. Like it's,
and that could even be heaven. That could be, you envision passing over to the other side. Yeah. Take me to another place. Take me to another land. A land that's plentiful, a land where there's no more tears. Like you can already envision how that can now transcend life, even, and make me forget all the hurts. Like that is a powerful message, very powerful message.
And so,
and the melody of that, it sticks. That melody sticks.
You feel it for sure.
Yeah. And it's unforgettable.
It's and even the second verse after that is, Lord, it's obvious we got a relationship, talking to each other every night and day. Although you're superior over me, we talk to each other in a friendship way. And out of nowhere, you tell me to break.
He's so good at articulation, though. Like articulating these thoughts, like you're so superior over me, but we talk to each other like in a friendship way. Like that's very articulate. Like, how, sometimes you have these big ideas, but how do you put that down? It's not as easy as one might think, to
blend simplicity and to be actually articulate with you bringing your point across to where it's like, damn, simplistic as it is, it's extremely thought provoking.
Yeah.
Then out of nowhere, you tell me to break out of the country and into more country, past Iceberg, into Ripley, where the ghost
Tennessee, basically,
where the ghost of my childhood haunts me. Walk the roads my forefathers walked, and so this is going into where the deeper roots of the South, to where he's like, man, this is on like at this point, I'm thinking speech is a little bit past the civil rights movement in the early 70s. So it's still, you still get the echoes of it.
Yeah.
Still get the echoes of these racial
But
racial
he's in
issues.
Tennessee. Is he going to Tennessee? He's going to Tennessee right here, right?
Yes.
And that is powerful too. I mean, the fact of describing, now he's thinking about his forefathers, climbing the trees where his forefathers hung from.
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting real powerful because now he's thinking about his ancestors. Yeah, and he's thinking about like deeper stuff.
And it's like not looking, because this next bar, it's about not looking at these trees as the enemy. Yeah. But he says, ask those trees for all their wisdom. They tell me my ears are so young. Go back to from whence you came. My family tree, my family name. For some reason, it had to be. He guided me to Tennessee. So it was about coming back. Verse 2, it's about coming back here to the place where, hey, look, there is a lot of strife.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things and issues that we have to deal with here. These trees are the very trees that your forefathers hung from. But these are the trees that you can ask
their wisdom.
For wisdom.
Yeah. And then why? Because we know trees, they live a long time. Some around for thousands of years. So they have a lot of wisdom. Back to the chorus. Take me to another place. Take me to another land. Make me forget
all that hurts me. Let me understand your plan.
Yeah.
And even with the interlude too, it was this interlude. I want to give credit to Genius to where Razadon, the drummer, and Baba Oje is the spiritual leader of the group, and then Peachtree refers to Peachtree Street in Atlanta, Georgia. So when he says, Asha, she went to Holly Springs. Razadon and Baba, they went to Peachtree. Headliner, I challenge you to a game of horseshoes. A game of horseshoes. Now I see the importance of history.
I didn't get why she wanted to challenge Headliner to a game of horseshoes.
There's nothing that breaks down in that, and there's nothing, horseshoes just it's a game, maybe.
It's a game.
I have no idea what that interlude is, and it's like, as much as I tried to look into it to figure it out, it's just mentioning the fact that Razadon and Baba are within the group.
Yeah. But it's cool because it's
they're like, what else? Everyone, the comment section is like, but why, guys? Why didn't you figure this out?
It feels like I was saying earlier. It feels like ad-libbed almost too. Maybe what she's saying, but this is all speculation. These are the places, like this is like almost like their heaven, possibly. Or
I'm like
not sure.
A place, so while speech is talking about Tennessee,
because Baba OJ didn't pass before they made the song, right? So she's not talking about it like.
Perhaps this is their Tennessee. These are allusions to the other groups outside of that.
Okay.
Where speech is about Tennessee, but now you talk about Peachtree. Peachtree is a place that's
right.
main street in Atlanta.
That makes more sense.
And Holly Springs.
That makes sense. So maybe that's their Tennessee.
Yeah.
For them, they went down to Peachtree. And for Eshi, she went down to Holly Springs, which is like Mississippi, I believe. Headliner, I challenge you to a game of horseshoes. The horseshoe thing's got me a little puzzled. I mean, maybe... I don't know what that could even signify. I don't even know if it's a metaphor at all.
Maybe it's just like it goes back to the childhood essence. It's just like, hey, maybe let's play a game of horseshoes. Because it's...
Yeah.
We'd really have to ask...
That's where we need Andre to go into a metaphor or something.
Yeah.
Because guys, it means this deep metaphor that we're missing.
Well, yeah, but I'm
sure.
See, this is where it's like, this is where everyone else thrives, but I always look at everything a lot literally.
Yeah.
And it's very hard. I even have a hard time discerning sarcasm, as much of a smartass as I am.
That's funny.
Now I see the importance of history, why my people be in the mess that they be. Many journeys to freedom made in vain. My brothers on the corners playing ghetto games. I ask you, Lord, why you enlighten me without the enlightenment
of all my
folks?
Maybe the answer's right there. He's talking about my brothers on the corner playing ghetto games. I don't really consider horseshoes as a ghetto game, though. Maybe I'll just leave off of that subject. I'll just drop it.
No. So yeah, I mean, it could be, but you're absolutely right. Where it could be alluding back to what they were talking about in the interlude. Mm-hmm. Could be. It's all speculation. My brother's on the corners playing ghetto games. I ask you, Lord, again, this is a constant prayer within the song.
Right.
I ask you, Lord, why you enlighten me without the enlightenment of all my folks. He said, because I set myself on a quest for truth, and that was there to quench my thirst. But I am still thirsty. Thirst for knowledge is always going to be there.
And you could tell how authentic that is, because most that deem themselves Christian, because thirst no more comes from the Bible. I know most people would consider themselves Christian would be satisfied with with the water that Jesus brings them, whatever. Yeah. I'm good. You satisfy my thirst.
Right.
But I love the authenticity because he's saying, "No, I'm still thirsty."
Yeah. And then the next bar complements your point because it says, "The Lord allowed me to drink some more." He said, "What am I searching for are the answers to all of which are in front of me. The ultimate truth started to get blurry. For some strange reason, it had to be. It was all a dream about Tennessee."
Man.
Dude, it's so the outro plays into what we're talking about. Headliner, I won the game of horseshoes. Now you owe me a watermelon. Let's go climb trees and skip over rocks. Do like they do below the border. Speech is hair. Don't it look like the roots of a tree that the ancestors were hung from? But that's okay. Get it? Because he's down to earth.
Wow.
So
powerful track.
Powerful messages within this album. Yeah. Overall, a very powerful album. Debut effort from Arrested Development. Granted, we ended up getting the best of a group. In turn, 93 Best New Artist, first hip-hop artist to win that award.
Right.
Not the first nominated, though, but the first to win it.
Yeah.
So not only do you and I kind of see this album in that light, but people during that time were going back to what we were saying in the beginning, where gangster rap's shining out of all this time. We actually have a big flare within like the
hip hop community.
Yeah.
It's in the air.
And it's way above the gangster rap.
Yeah.
We can see it for a brief moment. And then it comes back down to earth how it should be, because that's what Arrested Development's all about.
Yeah.
We can't sing the praises enough of this, because this is unique in its way. It's alternative hip-hop music, Arrested Development is. And you won't get an experience like this till you get a more hip-hop centric live band like The Roots. It's definitely planted the seeds for people, even though Outkast came out a year later with Southern Catalytic Play of Music. So it gives you the framework. Arrested Development definitely gave the framework for a lot of these bands to be a little more experimental. Give it all what you got. Be free. There's no confines to hip hop.
Yeah.
Never was.
This album is very matured. I like to say that as well. Whereas a lot of the gangsta stuff at the time, I don't feel like was. Like, okay, Cube was in his prime. Yeah, Dr. Dre was in his prime and all that. But even then, I don't feel like they were matured mentalities, still in that lifestyle. That's not considered to be matured necessarily. In the aspect of like thinking about the bigger picture, about community, about your culture, about what am I preaching here?
Yes,
to the masses.
Exactly. And what you're thinking about too is that gangster rap is within its own bubble. Mm-hmm. And you kind of have to stay within the confines of that bubble, because you get out of that, as a gangster rapper, you'll lose a lot of the people that you are trying to garner as an audience. You're kind of in a position where it's like, okay, I have to keep being gangster, but I could be a little bit more lyrical. You could lose fan base at the detriment. It's about the sphere of like all the subject matter is within the sphere, and you can't go outside of that in gangster rap. guns, crime, rapping about the block. You don't like when is Ice Cube going to start talking about like metaphysical lyricism within 93? Is he ever going to talk about outer space? When is he ever going to be talking about like the homeless community and be as thought provoking as speech was during this time? He's not.
Yeah, I mean,
no gangster rapper is going to be doing that.
Cube was probably
socially conscious. Yes,
Cube was socially conscious. That's what I guess where the hair splits here. He was socially conscious, but yet not like this socially conscious.
But then also too, remember where we're setting the bar.
Right.
We're setting the bar on the most lyrically profound gangster rapper probably of all time.
True. Yeah.
You're talking about, we set the bar high around here because now you're talking about Cube, you're talking about Biggie, you're talking about Pac around this time.
Right.
We're not talking about these other MCs down here where it's like, oh man, they're really talking about the dirt.
Yeah.
They're talking about the dirt. Like
it's true.
We're talking about great examples here at this point, so it's circling back to it. It's when we talk about gangster rap and not how Arrested Development is at this point, there's Arrested Development has no sphere. It's all free. They can talk about the plight of gangster rap. They can talk about the plight of the homeless community. They can talk about issues within, their home state. There's no limitations. Within gangster rap. You have these limitations, and that's why I feel that they were standing out. They stood out as more than Tribe did.
Yeah, you're true. Because like, what gangster rap could talk about homelessness?
Yeah, they're confined.
Like,
I love to debate people on that too. Like,
but a gangster could talk about not true to the game. So that falls within the sphere of what the subjects that they can talk about that are in their world.
Yeah.
Whereas, a gangster's not going to talk about homelessness. A gangster's not going to talk about God and space in that way.
It's like the Truman Show.
Yeah.
Remember at the end, the homeboy tries to sail away, he hits a wall. You know, like you can go really far out in a gangster rap, but it's still there's a wall to where look, you go outside of those confines, you are gonna be losing a lot of your audience because
you're not really a gangster anymore.
Gangster rapper
you're not a gangster anymore at this point. Once you go beyond that wall,
right?
Because they could even talk about God, but it's not the same like the way Speech is talking about God.
Yeah,
where he's like actually asking God questions in the songs and like, and it's different. I don't know how to explain it, but it is different from the way like a Tupac would talk to God.
Yeah.
Tupac's talking to God in the frame of a gangster.
Yeah. Ask him for forgiveness.
Speech is talking about God in the sphere of a human.
Being guided.
Yeah. Being guided. Yeah. Guided in the light. Whereas Tupac is more like, I know the light, but I'm out here. Forgive me for my sins, please. Like it's different.
Come with me. Hail Mary.
Yeah. It's the same way where I would say like, one would wear the cross where they wear it for like the look of it, whereas one will wear it because they believe in it. Like, there's a difference there. Even though they're both wearing it, one's wearing it for a different reason where the other's wearing it for a different reason. So
exactly.
I guess I would try to explain it that way.
Yeah. With Arrested Development as a whole, it's expression.
Yeah.
This is expression of expression of a lot of emotions. And I feel that's why it like broke free from like, hey, look, this actually reached mainstream people. Cause you talk about 4 million albums sold in the US and then many millions outside,
That's
4 times platinum.
That's crazy.
Dude, there's not a lot of gangster rappers that were doing 4 times platinum besides the gentleman that we mentioned.
Yeah.
So it's, conscious and alternative hip hop does have its time. It had its time in 93, 94. We're talking back to back. Arrested Development and I feel Diggable Planets definitely was super alternative and their message is equally as good. But I'm talking about Best New Artist. It was like a wave of this alternative hip hop, not even just conscious. They were Arrested Development.
Yeah, because after Arrested Development, De La Soul.
So De La Soul
comes out.
De La Soul predates Arrested Development by 5 years. I think the 88's their first release, if I'm not correct.
Okay.
Always have something to reference.
So you have De La Soul And then you have Tribe Called Quest all out this time.
Mm-hmm. You also have the Jungle Brothers, part of the Native Tongues posse. Yep.
Yeah, and then Arrested Development here.
So yeah, De La Soul, 4 years, 89.
So that was a pretty good conscious movement there. Dude, but then comes Dr. Dre and the gang. And there's nothing wrong. I love Dr. Dre's music. I do. And I don't know if that's hypocritical or not, but I do. To be honest, Eminem and all that stuff, I liked it. I wasn't.
There's no shame. There's no shame in the game with it. I mean, we do have the moments where we like listening to that stuff. Right. We do enjoy it, but it's we know what we go back to.
Yeah.
I can listen to Pac for a long while, but I know that it's not how I feel and how I think. Yeah. So it's like I always revert back to what I'm comfortable with, to what I'm emotionally sound with. Yeah.
And as much as I love Eminem on the lyricism and everything, sometimes I'm like, dude, what are you talking about?
Dude, here? Listening to doing the first episode when we did the Slim Shady LP. Yeah. It was like, oh yeah, this was really Eminem at one point. And it's like the first album, I'm just like, all right, we're done with that. I used to like it a lot, but now it's like, we know what we revert back to.
Yeah. So excellent album. I'm glad that you chose this one. At first I was just like, I don't know, man. And then once I listened to it, I'm like, dang. So check it out, everybody. For those who haven't listened to this album, or if you have listened to this album, like, let us know in the comments, like, your feedback on the album and what you thought, how you thought, or how you took it, engaged with it. Or
you're Mr. Wendal.
Yeah. There's so much great. Or let us know your favorite tracks out of this too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great project. Thanks, Mark, for bringing this one up for the table today. Before we leave, we got a couple of things to talk about. We got some plugs. Mark, go ahead, talk about what you got going
on. Feel free to head over to the Notorious Pin, where I have tons of pins for you to choose from. I have everything from pop culture, our Poke Rapper series. I have a bunch of nostalgic controllers from various video game systems that people would like. We also are going to be launching a couple of new pins that I'm just going to save for the secret debut. So head on over to El Notorious Pin on Instagram, drop us a follow, and then you'll be in tuned to the releases as well, because I'm coming out with 2 new pins that need to hit the store shelves there. Also, the notoriouspin.com. Make sure you hit up there as well. And we're also available at various game stores all across the valley portion of Los Angeles.
Nice.
So
nice. And then, of course, we got the podcast. So we are looking for a push in subscribers and followers for our platforms. I think maybe the YouTube one, I'd like to emphasize a little bit more on.
Yeah.
If you guys listen to us on maybe like on the podcasting platforms or whatnot, see if you can find us on YouTube. It's going to be /That's Hip Hop 909. Look for us on there.
Yeah.
You can always search That's Hip Hop as well and put episode, I think this is 46, on there. And then you could probably find us that way as well. But look us up on YouTube. We need the help, guys, to keep on growing. And that way we can just really start to get organized here as a team and put together some good quality stuff and take recommendations and all that stuff.
Yeah. So what to harp on Isaiah's point as well, more engagement helps us out, and it helps people within the YouTube community find us. So 356 subscribers, the likes are always in the single digits, so it would help a lot to just drop a like, hit the notification bell, or even just hit the sub. It helps us out, and even engaging with us. We'll be able to.
And we read them, so we're constantly on there, reading them and
positive, negative, whatever.
Even if it is negative, which we've gotten those too. I try not to take that personally. I'll always look at that as okay.
Isaiah's ready to pull up.
I'm ready to pull up. I've always, because I know sometimes people don't really know us, and who are these guys talking about hip hop? There's those gatekeepers sometimes, but
it's that, yeah.
In all honesty, we're just passionate about hip hop, and you know what, we we loved it so much that we participated in it, and we still participate in it, matter of fact. But that's why we're even doing this we didn't come together to be like, oh, this is a good moneymaker, we can exploit this. Nobody's doing it. We didn't come together like that. We came together as friends talking about, hey man, let's talk about what we love. And that's how this show started. So that's why I mentioned, follow us on YouTube, because we're not going to stop. We're going to keep going and try to give the best quality that we can. Considering that we both have jobs, and it's a lot sometimes, but you know what? We love doing it so much, like we don't care. So we take recommendations, we engage, we answer questions, any of that stuff.
And we're also waiting for you guys to launch your own hip hop podcast, so we can let you know what you think about. Actually, we're gonna let you know what we think about it. Try that. Also, too, you always got to remember.
Try all that just so we can do that.
Yeah, just so we can prove a point. Also to mention too, Isaiah brought up a good point. We are students of the game. We also like the fact that every 5 episodes we will do a freestyle, off the top of the head freestyle for you guys. This is something that a lot of people don't do within the hip hop podcast community. I would love to think that we're the only ones that go off the head 100%, because no one's reviewing. A lot of people are going to freestyle off the head, but no one's reviewing an album and then every such amount of episodes getting the freestyle after the very hosts.
Yeah.
So we put ourselves out there like that because it's, the better we get, the more entertaining and engaging it is, dude. Look at our freestyle compilation video is going to be the best example for that. Because, in the beginning, we dusted off our chops and we knew what we had to come with later, and we're getting better. It's the best thing that could ever happen, because now we're just able to, it goes back into many social instances where we could be better off the top. Always consider that when you are thinking about subscribing to a hip hop podcast.
Man, that was a good run. That was a good run for us to plug that in. Go ahead, man. Drop it.
Yeah. To the MCs, if you drop a mic, drop a like. And to you ninja watchers out there, drop a like. All the homies, all the homies that don't even subscribe, just subscribe. Drop a like. It's easy. Stop hating.